Okay, so if you have been anywhere online lately, you've seen it. Virat Kohli's brand new full-sleeve Lotus tattoo. It absolutely blew up, and you know what? For good reason. It is a gorgeous piece of art. But there is a whole lot more going on here than just a celebrity getting some new ink.
See, what we're really looking at here, it isn't just about the tattoo itself. This is a masterclass in design, in intention, and, as we're about to see, it's also a huge warning about some really serious dangers hiding in the tattoo industry. This one piece of art tells us so much about the difference between ink that will last a lifetime and ink that just becomes a permanent regret.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the art. The number one thing you gotta understand is that Kohli's arm isn't just some random collection of pictures. No, it's being treated like a living, breathing, evolving canvas.
In the tattoo world, they call this a cumulative narrative. Every single new piece, like this Lotus, builds on what was there before. It tells a bigger story that reflects different stages of his life, of his career. It's all one cohesive work of art that's just growing over time. And it's that very idea that separates a true masterpiece from, well, a permanent mistake.
Because, most people don't end up regretting their tattoos because the meaning faded. Nope, they regret them because the actual execution was bad. And that brings us to the really crucial technical stuff that makes a tattoo actually look good forever. So here's the real divide. On one side, you have intentional, taste-driven design. It has structure, it's thought out, and it ages beautifully. On the other side, you've got that big, loud, random ink that we see all the time. That stuff, it just degrades into what artists literally call a muddy blob after a few years. Why? Because it was rushed, the lines are all over the place, and there is zero thought put into how that ink is actually going to settle into the skin.
And this is exactly why good tattoos hold up. It's all in these details. We're talking fine, clean line work that actually flows with the natural shape of the body. There's a smart, strategic use of negative space. That's the empty skin, which is just as important as the ink. And the line weight is consistent, which creates this amazing depth and stops that dreaded blob effect from ever happening.
Now, obviously, Kohli's tattoo was done by some of the best artists in the world, where this level of skill is just the baseline. But that craftsmanship, that's only half the story. And the other half, well, that's where things get dark, and they get dark really fast.
So you have to ask the question, an artist can have the most beautiful portfolio you've ever seen, but does that automatically mean you're going to have a safe experience? The answer, I'm afraid, is a hard no. Not even close.
$3 million. That is the amount a very popular, very well-known New York City tattoo studio is being sued for right now. And we're not talking about some sketchy back alley place. This was a studio that clients really trusted. And the allegations in this lawsuit, honestly, they're stomach-turning. We're talking dirty needles, insects and rats in the studio, blood spills just left there, and a massive, massive risk of cross-contamination. This is the actual stuff of nightmares, and it was happening in a place people were going to for art.
And that's just the plain, unvarnished truth of the industry as it stands. There is a razor-thin line between a sterile, professional studio like the one Kohli went to, and a place that is a serious health hazard, no matter how good their Instagram feed looks.
Okay, but here's some good news. Things are finally starting to change. The Wild West days of the tattoo industry might actually be coming to an end, all thanks to some new regulations that are forcing everyone to step up their game.
So right now, the industry is this mix of total pros and what the source material calls cowboy operators. But look at that date, 2026. That is a hard deadline. That's when new FDA regulations, under something called the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act, or MACRA, become mandatory. This isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's the law, and it's going to completely change the game.
So what does all this legal jargon actually mean for you? Well, it's pretty simple. First, artists will have to document the batch number of every single bottle of ink they use. Total traceability. Second, if a client has a serious bad reaction, the studio is legally required to report it to the FDA. And together, this creates a real safety baseline that will finally, hopefully, separate the true professionals from the hazards.
Which brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole explainer, how you can protect yourself. Because you shouldn't have to be a celebrity to demand and get a safe tattoo experience.
I want you to really let this sink in. Your $300 tattoo requires the exact same level of hygiene as a six-figure celebrity sleeve. Safety is not a luxury upgrade. It is the absolute bare minimum.
So here it is. This is your checklist.
These are the questions you need to be asking before a needle ever even comes close to your skin. Ask them, can I see the batch documentation for my ink? Ask, how do you sterilize your equipment? And by the way, the only right answer there is with an autoclave. Ask, do you use sterile water to dilute your ink, or is that tap water? And finally, can you just walk me through your process for preventing cross-contamination? A real pro will have these answers ready to go, no problem.
And that really is the bottom line. This quote says it all. If an artist gets defensive, if they get dismissive or annoyed when you ask about basic safety, you walk out, just leave. Because at that moment, they are failing the art itself. The most beautiful design in the world means absolutely nothing if it's not safe. The art and the hygiene, they're not separate things. They are one and the same. So the question isn't just, is the art any good? The real question is the entire practice safe?